Okay, we should be on the air and live and all that good stuff. And I do believe that is what's happening. Yes, all sound is good and looks great. All right, so thank you all for attending. Today I'm going to talk about, there's never enough to talk about, yeah. But I'm going to just go for the one area that you need to know because it surrounds you. It surrounds the world. It's an event that's happening right now. Yeah, and people go, well, here comes the coming of the Christ, you know, and we really hope that happens soon, and, you know, that would be great, you know. And then there's others that go, well, what about the Antichrist? You know, according to prophecy, he's supposed to come before the Christ. So where's that? We haven't seen an Antichrist yet, or have we? Well, what was that? Was that Hitler? Or was that the other 5 dictators in the 50s and the 40s, yeah? Or was it any of the people who killed all the cult leaders, you know? Was it Bhagwan, Sai Baba, all those people out there that did those terrible things? Were any of those the Antichrist? And yeah, they were. They were the Antichrist as a league of the Antichrist, as a plot that is to affect the whole, not a few, but every single living human being, every mineral, every element, every gas, every oil, even the oxygen that you breathe, yeah, even the sunlight that you receive, yeah, is veiled in ignorance, complete ignorance. The speed of light, transition of everything, and physics, and all those things are all veiled in your ignorance. Why? Because you're too stupid to realize that you serve Satan. And you know, it's not in a position to where you go, well, you know, I'm going to stop serving Satan today. You know, that's what I'm going to do because I'm a Satanist. You know, born a Satanist. You know, I eat food as a Satanist because I have a critical mind. I have a laissez mind. If I was to speak to Jesus, would I listen to everything he said? Could I? Would I follow what he says? No, not really. No. You would consider. You would consider. That's what you would do. Yeah. And you would maybe take 20 or 30 years to change things I said 20 or 30 years ago. But it's not that you're not ready. Is that you are in league with the devil. In league with the devil. Yeah? Walking, breathing, eating, decision-making. Every single thing, every single person you talk to, how you talk to them. Even why you talk to them. It's not God in you, you know, making manifest your heavenly little existence. It's Satan, people. Satan. And you allowed it to happen. And it's here, big time. You even voted the Antichrist to become the president in the United States. And people in Russia voted the Antichrist to become the president of Russia. Yeah? People in North Korea didn't even have an opportunity. People in China, no. But they were voted. Your evil dictators, your queens, and all those people of Denmark and France and Spain and England and all of that are the highest levels of Satan. The deepest level of Satan. Those people just don't give a shit. Not at all. It's their boundary. It's their Denmark. It's their Spain. It's their France. It's their border. Yeah, and you are not invited. You're an immigrant. You're suffering. You know, you're trying to get away from horrible events, people killing you, people raping your children. Just because what? You're a Muslim, you're a Jew, you're Christian, for whatever reason. It is happening, and that is the main reason why people immigrate. Because it's not so nice where they live. They can't get a job. They live in poverty. corruption is horrible? Why? Because Satan is everywhere. I don't care if you call yourself English. I don't care if you call yourself Danish. I don't care if you call yourself American. Yeah? You're still a Satanist. Yeah? You can be a Christian. You can be a Catholic. You can be a Buddhist. You can be a Hindu, but you're still a Satanist. Just the way it is. It's going to take a while. Yeah? I mean, literally, you vote these people in. People are so corrupt in Russia right now. They're taking over a country, and the people in Russia are so deluded and veiled by a lack of a soul, because they choose to have a lack of a soul. They chose for a long, long time, day after day after day after week after month. You know, I'm Russian. I hate the Nazis. You know, I hate this, I hate that. You know, all that entire separative reality that we exist in has nothing to do with whether or not you're Russian or you're German or you're English. You're a Satanist. That's what you are. And you don't like it. You don't like being called a Satanist. Yeah? Because it's the reason for death. It's the reason for disease. It's the reason for suffering. It's the reason for rape. It's the reason for all bad things. All bad things. And all bad things happen every single day. At all times. Yeah. Doesn't matter what you think. Reality is reality. Yeah. This is Satan's world. Yeah, you're Satan's children. Yeah. You beget Satan's law. You have the military, you have guns, you have everything. Satan, everything. Everything Satan desires, you got. And you get to keep it too. Unless you're a greedy person next to you who's also fulfilled Satan's desire, will just beat you up and steal it from you. Because that's Satan. That is Satan. And you never know when that's going to happen, when a person will turn. You know? They can be your best friend, they could be your wife, they could be your husband. But you could find yourself in court. Slandered. Destroyed in your ego and your promise of love and cherish and, you know, take care of each other forever. Satan. Bullshit. No commitment whatsoever. None. And yet you jump around and say, oh, I can't wait to get married. Can't wait to have kids. Can't wait to be committed, you know, to my obligation of being who I am, a Satanist. Selfish. Self-intending, you know. Little princess or king or queen or a rich little barbarian Trump. You know, Baron Trump. You know, it's all that we are. It's all that we are. But you don't know anything. You don't know where you're going. You don't know how bad it's going to get. Yeah. I mean, you haven't even gotten a soul, so you don't have to worry about losing it. No. The only thing you got to worry about is being aware of the fact that you're serving Satan. And Satan is destroying the earth, and you're standing there clapping. Because you will. Because you do. Yeah. It's the way it is. Just the way it is. Yeah. You clap when you see people beat the shit out of people. You clap when you see football players beat over another football player. You know, it's just, I mean, it is not knee-jerk. It's nature. Satan. I personally would like to get rid of Satan, so I'm telling you straight out, I'm not interested in your ass. Not at all. Because you lie, you deceive. You're one thing one minute, but you're not the same the next. Now I'm Jesus the Christ. I am consistent. Totally consistent. I fight the devil. I know I'm fighting the devil. I know where you're at in this. I know where everybody's at in this. You know? And I've never had a day, a moment in my life, not even when I go to sleep, that I'm not aware of the fact that you are suffering because you are of the body of Satan. The body of Satan. Even your Christmas, your Easter, your Sunday, your Monday, your Tuesday, your church day is all a lie. It's all ceremonial magic based on pagan ritual. Pagan ritual, and you just go for it. Yeah? And it leads you to so many things, so many deluded things. But there's a plan behind it, a devilish plan. You know? Trump has to be the world president. He has to be the president. He can't be anything else but the president, and has to be more than the president. He needs to be the world president. Needs everybody in the whole world to devote themselves to him. It's just the way it is. That's just how the devil is. You know, you could see the nature. You can't help but watch the nature express itself. You know, even though he doesn't win in voting and things like that, he runs around, steals and lies and everybody and destroys the whole country in saying that we have an illegal voting system we should never trust. Yeah, and we've been trusting it all along. That's all we've done. The whole entire democracy is based on this trust, you know. But his whole entire speech, everything he says, is based on don't trust. Do not trust voting. Do not trust democracy. Only trust Trump. Yeah? Only trust the far side of the moon, you know? Things you can't see, things dark in the night. Yeah. The guy is holding an enormous amount of delusionary energy. Yeah. For a purpose. Yeah, it's been in the works for thousands of years. In the works. Yeah. And he's just many reincarnations. But he's an incarnation of a demigod. When I told you about the demigods that came as giants, yeah? Fallen angels. Fallen angels. Yeah? Nephilims. Yeah. Well, if you study this shit, you find out that our government, our relationship to our world, is based on those fallen angels and bringing them back into incarnation through Apollo, through Zeus, and incarnate Apollo as the Antichrist. And bring about glamour and all the things that Apollo would bring, along with the demigod girls and guys that come with it. The Putins, the people in China, the guy in North Korea and his family, all are out of those gods. Yeah? All are out of the gods. And all the statues we have all around America are based on these gods. Yeah? The Statue of Liberty. Did you know that that's a demon god that serves Satan? No, you probably didn't know that. You know, as a Satanist, you're just going, well, you know, Satan tells us that what we believe in is Christ. But there's, you know, that's being wiped away faster than you can ever imagine, because all of other demigods are put in his place. Yeah? Movie stars. Stars. Rock and roll stars. Stars. Yeah? People of glamour. And you look up to them and oh, wow, you know, look at the mansion they're in. They're gods. They're gods amongst us. You know? And look, when a guy god and a girl god gets together, it's like, oh my God, they're a duet of gods. How powerful can that get? And they even say it in the media. They say it because you're Satan's. You love it. You love it. You love your gods. You're here because of them. Yeah? You were their children. Yeah? You were their disciples. You were their food. Your little girls were sacrificed to them. Prostitution was created by them. Your glamour behavior can manifest only through them. And they don't exist. In heaven, they don't exist. They are self-created demons, demigods. And we say that in heaven. We say it, you know. They are not of the book of life. They are not in the book of life. They are not there in the beginning. They were not there throughout the whole process. They are behind the scene. They are the watchers. And that's our government, people. Yeah, that's Washington, D.C. That's Sacramento. That's every monument of every government, of every dome you look at. It's a temple to Apollo. Every single one. Temple to Apollo. Yeah, it's all based on masonry. Not Christianity. There's no Christianity in Freemasons. There's no such thing as, he's just one of the guys. You know? They know they serve Satan. There's no question about it. They know it's a long run game because they're only going against one guy. And he's manifested out of the tree of life. And he is the book of life. He can see every single person who is in the book of life. And he's the one who writes it down. And none of you change. From the very moment of creation, you never change. You're always the same. Yeah? You're the same being, you're the same soul, you're the same monad, everything about you is as it was in the beginning of creation. That's the book of life. Everything was made manifest all at the same time in life. Yeah? And it just goes round and round and round in the tree of life. Like evolution, like it grows, like you see a tree and it grows a flower and it grows seeds and they drop to the ground and birds eat and other things feed from it and live from it and an earth is created out of it and root systems grow and other trees come up. Yeah? And we get all the things from the vegetables, the minerals, the animals, you know, through these kingdoms. And they're natural. They vibrate. Yeah? They're inside the tree of life. Yeah? It's all part of the tree of life. It's all a part of the book of life. Except for demons. Fallen angels are not a part. They're not in it. That's why they can have sex with females here on earth, and all of a sudden their children become the demigods, the Trumps, the Putins. Yeah? So what of that? What of that? What of that? Here the Nephilims actually do not exist. They're fallen angels. They've been kicked out of heaven. They are not in the book of life. They're out. You know? That creates hell, purgatory, all these different stages for them to exist, not for you. You're not part of that. You're in the book of life. Yeah? Totally different. And you need to understand this so you could be reborn. Because if you're not reborn, your mother will birth you as a Satanist. Your father will birth you as a Satanist. Your grandmother will birth you as a Satanist. Your king of your country will birth you as a Satanist. And Trump will birth you as a Satanist. And all you're doing, you're just doing what you think you're supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to vote. They're supposed to be politicians. Yeah? All this is supposed to happen. Yeah? It's supposed to be the way it is. Yeah? But what if 90% of it is actually corruption and greed and no one, but no one. There is so much resources, so much has been taken from this earth and put into the hands of so few. And it is completely absorbing and taking away your future. It's like you look at yourself and you go, oh, maybe I have 70 or 80 years. And you reach 60 and you go, whoa, maybe I got 15 to 20 years. You know? Well, think about that. That's the way God looks at everything. Everything has a cycle. Everything has a time, you know? And Earth, the way it's made, has an infinite life cycle. An infinite life cycle. But not with you people. You know, because we have something known as the noosphere. And the noosphere is where God communicates to the earth and maintains the earth in the light of his heart and mind and body. Yeah, God does that. Yeah. And he creates the geosphere, yeah, and the biosphere. And we just take it for granted. We just see birds fly around, butterflies fly around, bugs, ooh, get rid of those, you know. Get fruit, and we get vegetables, and we see buffalo, and we go, wow, this is just amazing. But we're so stupid. We have no idea where any of this is coming from. We do not know God. So we think it's ours, you know. And you think, well, it's all by happenstance. It's all by accident, you know. You know, just a genetic mutation, one right after another, and we get all this. Yeah, right. Yeah, chaos. Yeah, as though that's true. It's not true. Yeah, we are surrounded in God. Yeah, and time and space and everything is the transcendental nature of God. You know, it's far bigger than the way we look at life. We look at life as a very mundane thing, you know. We need to eat. We need to be able to sleep. It'd be great if we had a roof over our head and the elements weren't getting at us every day and we were safe from the animals and other people that might harm us. You know, those things we could bring about in our life, you know. We think we have balance. We have safety. We have happiness. We are not afraid all the time, you know. I mean, we you know, I can go a long story about our evolution, you know, but our main focus of our evolution is human beings and human beings' relationship to fallen angels and how fallen angels have created demons out of human beings, followers. You can look, just look. How many people followed Bhagawan? Yeah. Where did that lead them? Where did it lead them? Yeah. How many people followed the guy to Africa? You know, Jim Jones. And then he kills everybody. You know? How many people followed the guy to thinking they were going to go into Star Trek? So they all, you know, kill themselves at night and put plastic bags over their head in case that didn't work. And really, that happened. You know, over and over in Sweden and Denmark and America and England and Spain and Africa, everywhere, cults manifest. You follow. You follow. Because you can't get close enough to Satan. You know? Can't get close enough. So you find yourself a Satanist. A real Satanist. Like Jim Jones. And you get all giddy. You know? You know, you're born right out of hell. You found yourself a grand master Satanist. Whoa, follow the leader now. Happens all the time. All the time. Yeah. I showed you in the 1870s that the entire Jewish masses, millions of people, millions of Jews, followed one guy. One guy. Believed that he was the Messiah. And in reality, he was a Satanist. A really evil Satanist. But all Satanists are evil, you know. You know, so he wasn't really unique. He was just one of the many. But over 2.5 million Jews, every single one of them followed him. And he restructured what you read in Judaism. He restructured it, making it okay to rape little girls, making it okay to have ancestral sex, making it okay to do all these things that you find in cults. Yeah, behind the scene in cults. Yeah, and what happens in the end? You know, the story goes on. It is so cool. You people are nuttier than shit. You just follow Satan one right after another, and even Jews, Muslims, doesn't matter. I mean, look at this guy. He brings 2.5 million people to him as a Messiah, changes all their doctrines. He says, oh, you know how you get to God? Commit sin. That's what he said. How you get to God, you commit sin. Kill people, harm people, lie to people, steal from people, rape your daughter, whatever sinful, do it. And from that, because you are God, you transform that sin and you raise it up. Wow. Total Satanism. And after he's done doing that, getting all 2.5 million go crazy, he tells them, now you're a Muslim. Now you're a Muslim. Yeah, and imagine you're Jewish, you know. What do? You actually, you take this shit, you go all the way, you know, you go, oh, all right, okay, I'm a Muslim. All the girls put on the little thing, and all the guys, you know, start acting like, you know, let's pray to the north or the south or east or west or wherever it is you're supposed to pray, you know, and do these things that, you know, you do as a Muslim, you know, because now we're Muslims. Jews and Muslims. Woo. What a surprise. Then he dies. People die, thank God. You know, and people start shaking their head, going, are we really Muslims? We've been Muslims now for 57 years after this guy died. I'm really more drawn toward Torah and, you know, my ancient ways and the pictures that we, and don't even have pictures in the 1800s, so you got a little bit of memory, you know, what grandma might have said or grandpa might have said of the old times, and, you know, reading the Bible, going back to the old ways, you know. So it took them about 200 years. And those are the people, you know, 200 years, people. That was 1860. 1960. 2020. They're just now starting to heal. They're still crazier than shit. Cracker Joe people, you know, who fell into a cult. But imagine you're born in a country. You're born in England. You're born in Spain. You're born in Russia. You're born in Denmark. You're born anywhere. You are in a cult. And you can choose. You can choose. You can choose to not be in a cult. You can do. I did. What made me, even though I am Jesus Christ and all that, but it is nature. I experienced walking through hell. Yeah, everything you experienced, I've experienced all of it. I walked through every single bit of it. Yeah, and I can remember every single time I was offered Satanism by my mother, by my father, by my brother, by my cousin, by my first lover, everyone. There wasn't a day that didn't go by where that didn't come up. Guys trying to molest me, girls trying to molest me, lies being put upon me, that I'm supposed to believe them and distrust other people because of lies. You know, I spent my entire life focusing on the truth, despite it all. There wasn't a day that didn't go by, and you all have the same shit coming at you, except that you don't have inside you God. It tells you you don't have to listen to that shit. That's not right. That's not your nature. Because nature does that to you. And that's why I believe in Buddhism. That's why I believe in becoming bodhisattva. And people, they could have been with me in this life 30, 40 years. Not even a fraction of bodhisattva is developed. Not even a fraction. Yeah, because they have to choose. They have to choose. Yeah? Imagine you're working in the Sangha with me, you know. And I tell people, okay, look, I'm the guy who usually wraps all the tools. I'm the guy who welds all the tools. I'm the guy who makes all this stuff. Every single thing I did all that, yeah. And how I did it was that I did it with empathy and compassion. Not with a fifth ray in my sacral center. Yeah, but, you know, you're incarnated with fifth ray in your sacral center, so that's your problem. But mine is not. You know, I have a seventh ray in my sacral center, so when I'm given the opportunity to make a sacred object for someone, you know, I have that person's name in front of me. I have the date that they asked for it. Because to them, that's the biggest day in their life. But to a demon, they don't give a shit. And it's really hard to teach a demon my way. Because what will they do? They will go, nah, I'd rather do 7 or 8 solar forms at the same time. You know, I'm not going to do it your way. Yeah, but I'd really rather you did, because it would include empathy and compassion and include the person on a soulful level from the very beginning, rather than an object. Yeah? And subjecting this person to being an object, you know, which we all suffer from. We're all objectified. Yeah? All of us. And you need to, you know, you need Jesus, you know, in order to change that. And you got to do exactly as I say. Because you're Satan. And in order to change Satan's body, you need to change Satan's actions. Yeah? You may not believe it, but I know it. Yeah? So all I really have to do is give instruction, give teachings, give instructions, and wait and be patient. Wait slowly. It may take 50 years for a person to go, oh, okay, I'll do it your way. And then they die 5 days later. Now, I see that. I see it. I see it. And that person never sees me again for 4,000 or 5,000 years. Their opportunity is gone. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. How often are you going to sit in front of the Lord in your lives, in all your lives? I'm only one guy. I do not have a super big ashram with a whole lot of disciples. So it's a cycle. People come in cycles, and that grows in time. But if you don't make it through the first probationary cycle and the very first light of the candle, you know, then you won't have anything to light the candle or light your way or come to any relationship to that, because that chance is gone. Gone. And it's not, you're not judged or anything. You just completely forget I existed. You're in the same position as everybody else, because I didn't exist when you were with me. Does that make sense? I mean, sorry if it doesn't, you know, but it is the way it's going to work for you. Because in 2025, and that's only a couple years away, a pinnacle of reality is going to take place. You voted, incarnated the manifestation of all the Antichrists and all the fallen angels onto earth. And every single one of them are going to start dying in the year 2025. And that could include you. Yeah? Because if you're not in the book of life, you're not in the book of life. Yeah? And no more lying. Trump right now is saying, I won, you know, therefore, you know, I won. But that's just like everybody else. I'm human, I'm incarnated, I must be an angel, I must be a Buddha, I must be... Not necessarily. We will find that out. And you fade away and come back, as this, having a difficult time in life, while everybody else is a little bit smarter, a little bit wiser, and is attracted to the Lord. Because all their processes of symbols and actions and glamours and things like that make them hold on to their will, which creates all these politicians to be in the position they're in. There's average people on this planet that have first-rate personalities. And those average people are people who rob people, steal from people, or people who just don't say much of anything and are alone and aloof and just get through life. Those are first-rate people. Same people as Putin, who's like, oh, so powerful, so grand, so this and that. But the 90% of the people out there who have that first-rate personality or first-rate soul are just vampires. Just sitting back like in a corner, They're just dark force, just doom and gloom, no positive energy of whatsoever. Because they're first ray, they're self-centered. They don't have any second ray, they don't have any third ray, they can't think in terms of, spiritual integrity and spiritual change, which would make changes in themselves. It could cause a person to have a conscience. It can cause a person to have visions. Cause a person to change metamorphically rather than be stuck in that same person you are at 25 years old, you're going to be when you're 80 years old, and you're looking really old at 80. Well, guess what you looked at when you were 25? The same old person. That's horrifying. Shouldn't follow the projection of what you have as your worst possible image and carry that out until you die. You shouldn't do that. You should be transmuting to be more healthier, bigger, stronger, wiser. Bigger, stronger, wiser, rather than skinnier, lazier, and more brittle. That's first ray. That's a demon. And that's what demons are going to get in this life. Because they got nothing to offer. They're going to take the positions of other people who have the ability to do what I ask to be done. And sooner or later, that'll be done. That'll be over with. They will be dead and they'll be gone, and other people will come into their place. And the elements are based on the rays that you have in your vehicles. They're based on those rays. By the year 2025, there's going to be a dynamically large shift in people having a second-rate soul or a second-rate personality. Dynamically large shift. And those people don't follow gurus. They don't follow lunar lords. They don't follow anything like that. They usually, barely make it through life. You find them on the street. They're homeless people. They don't want to harm anybody. They're having a hard time. That's what second ray is. Second ray is not a fancy rich person, having a lot of money, thinking intellectual terms. That's not very second ray. They're usually at the bottom of the heap, and they're serving others perfectly. And whatever, because there's so few doing it, they're willing to do the best. They're willing to be the one who puts the paper in front of them with the person's name on it and wraps one weaver at a time with that person's name on it. Feeling the love, feeling the appreciation, developing telepathy. Or don't. And spend a lot of time doing that. But in Shambhala, in my work, in everything that I do, it is an opportunity, whether it be for Sangha or extended Sangha, or just the average person out there that has no idea of anything that's going on. Every single thing that I do can trigger the possibility of a person having a rebirth. Because every person's got a soul. And it doesn't matter if you have a fifth ray soul, which I'm sorry to say, a good 30% of humanity have a fifth ray soul. A good 50. And these people who think that they're artists, they start off young, they're artists, they're writers, they like to do shit like that because they're fifth ray, they're dictators reincarnated, yeah? And dictators don't have a job, after a while, because it only goes through the worst times in cycles that you can have that position as a dictator, because everybody wants that job, so not so many people, right? Because the dictators are killing off each dictator, it's quite a unsavvy scenario, yeah? But it is the majority of humanity. The majority of humanity wants to be a football player, wants to be a basketball player, wants to be, what is that? It's fifth ray, yeah? So the stupidest people out there, the most ignorant people out there, the grunts, football players, basketball players, people in the military, grunts, housewives, driving their kids to the school, coming out, smoking cigarettes, having habits, all kinds of things. They're just grunts. They're fifth ray. The biggest majority, 1/3 of all of humanity is fifth ray. I don't care if you're in China. I don't care if you're in India. You still got a fifth ray soul or a fifth ray personality, and very likely a fifth ray physical body or a fifth ray mind. Yeah? And try teaching that person something. It's over with. Once they go to school, they, oh no, that's what they taught me in school, that's it. And 80% of them all have to learn it through memorization. And only fifth rate people can memorize. Third rate people can memorize. Seventh rate people have literally a photographic memory. They're great. They're nature. That's natural. That's a natural thing. But fifth ray is not photographic. It's memorization. That means that they can remember every single thing you say, but they can't put it into action. It has no recognitive virtuous action to it. In other words, you're objectifying it. You're seeing it as something other than yourself. And therefore, you don't have to change to have any of those wonderful, because writers do that in their fifth ray, but yet they're slovenly, ugly, fat, smoking, eating terrible food and beating their wives, but they can write beautiful things. Does that make sense? It's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's just plain freaking horrible. Yeah. So you really gotta change the fact that you look around this room right now. There's at least 50% of the people in this room have either a fifth ray soul or a fifth ray personality, and there's at least 5 people in this room that have a first ray. So fifth ray and first ray are playing in these people. And what rules the Dark Lodge is fifth ray and first ray. So these are literally the natures of people who are literally sitting in my room. And this is in Shambhala. So I'm telling you, this is all Satan, folks. This isn't my choice. Yeah? This isn't God's choice, because no one's moved by God. No one's moved by Jesus. I'm kicking ass. And once everything's done and over with and you've died and changed dramatically, then we'll be hanging. We'll be doing things together. You'll be helping me build the monastery the way I say. Not the way you say. And your fifth ray will not even be a part of your construct. Just like in your chakras, the fifth ray sits in your brow, and your brow is, let me show you this, your brow is not connected. If you look at over here at a healthy fifth ray, it's sitting up at your brow. Yeah? And that fifth ray, its only purpose is to have the telepathic ability to have another eye that sees God. Whether it's in a person, or in a tree, or in water, or in anything, it sees the truth. And God is the truth. Yeah? But look over here at the unhealthy side. All of you. Yeah? or over here on the unhealthy side. Yeah? And instead, you've got a fourth ray in the brow. Wow. That means that you look at anybody and they could be God in your mind. They could be God. Yeah? If they say they are, you have to quantify it. You don't have any discrimination. You have no fifth ray sitting there. God's radiating golden light at all times. You are not. Can you see my golden light? No. No. Yeah? So what's the deal? The deal is that there's no light in Satan. Satan doesn't exist, and therefore you don't exist. You're treated like you don't exist. Yeah? The state you're in, the government you got going on, the things that happen, they treat you like you're just a number, like, police catch you. Oh my God, you can throw a key away. You don't have anything. You're nothing. Yeah? You could be treated in any way, shape, or form. You could be tortured and they would justify it. And you would have to go through the process of going, well, I did kill that bug. Maybe it was right they tased me and threw me in the back and beat me and ripped all my clothes off and took pictures. Maybe that was right. Maybe I deserved that. That's the kind of person we are. Hell, demons, yeah, unhealthy chakras. And you all have to get this straightened out. And you only have a year and a half. Now, I've given many of you 30 years. 30 years. Literally physically knew me, listened to my music, and even worked for me. How far has that made your transition? Yeah. It's a difficult one. Yeah, because you don't know the outside picture. You don't know that there's a guy who is the Antichrist, who lives in New York, at Trump Tower, and he believes he's Apollo, and he is. What does that mean? What does that mean? It means he is the strongest psychic force on earth other than me. You have nothing. You have nothing. Nothing. Like he said, I could shoot you and get away with it. He has the strongest psychic force. And what is that psychic force? Devotion. Fourth ray to the brow. He put it there. He put it in you. Yeah. Apollo is music, light. Yeah. Apollo is the influence of art and music and supposed light. All these different things in ceremony and magic. Yeah. And that means your rays, your chakras. He could play you like an instrument. That's what Apollo is. He's the Antichrist. He knows you have bad karma with Buddha. He knows you have bad karma with Krishna. He knows you have really bad karma with Jesus. So he's playing you. Yeah? And the effect of it, is that, it comes to an end. The year 2025 comes to an end. But what is the end? The end here, he did not win in 2020. Yeah. But that left him open to go again in 2024. Which means 2025 he would be president again. How much Satan do you have to put your man in charge? And absolutely nobody likes it once he's in charge. He's crazy, he does terrible things, but you all clap when you see murder, when you see vengeance and hostility and aggression on TV and in movies. Satan, 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 Satan. Bloodthirsty, hungry, vile Satan. Yeah? You use your brow to live your life. This fourth ray. You can't even help a poor person on the street. I mean, I give people an opportunity to go help a poor person on the street. And you would think that every person I give that opportunity would be out there. But instead, they go, let's pick straws. Because this sucks. How about just one of us goes? And we get volunteers to go do it for Buddha. Yeah. My heart just goes, holy shit. Satan, 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 Satan. Is there ever going to be any hope for humanity? Ever? And they wake up in the morning and they go, oh, I'll still do the same thing. I'm not going. And they could have foot problems, they could have back problems, they could have problems. But really, I'm asking you to take something out of a bag and put it in a person's hands. Asking you to be friends to people who need a friend. Tell them your name, get to know their name, and be in your heart to where you got to go see these people again. You want to make sure they're okay. That grows in you. That's your fifth ray. That's your fifth ray. Your fourth ray goes back down to the base where it's meant to be, and it's no longer a hardship to be of service. It's not a sacrifice. We don't pull straws. We don't see who's going to go out to do the hardest work because it's freezing outside and it's snowy and it's so hard. All that is doesn't exist. God made me this person. I can melt snow. I mean, but if you're a fifth ray person with a first ray this and that, you make snow. You create the chaos. You make weakness in every person. And then they feel like they got to pull straws. And who's to say? Who's the cause of this? Is the group weak? Yeah? Or is it just channeling the effect of those rays? Because you don't really know what another person's rays are. You don't know. I do. And I'm never really very happy about it. Because I'd rather see the rays expressed in a different way. If a person wakes up, they express their soul ray as a dominant quality of a ray. Yeah? And that soul ray comes in, it has the heart behind it. It has a second ray behind it. It has the chakras and the right relationship behind it. So you lose all your negative characteristics that come with, having your chakras in the wrong order, in the wrong place. And that whatever chakras, whatever your rays are, whatever your system is, when that starts to wake up, it becomes a prominently healthy experience, rather than all this chaos, all this unhealthiness. So the process is that in 2025, we have a strong elemental process that comes about. Yeah. Trump is not dead, so we have to cope with this. We have to cope with it because the Antichrist is alive and does want to be president. As far as he's concerned, he still is. That should tell you something, people. It should tell you something. That is the Antichrist. Only the Antichrist would behave like that with so much pride and arrogance. And the only way to stop him is to let everybody know that Jesus Christ is incarnated. And that's more important than any president. And that Jesus Christ needs to teach what is the relationship inside of politics and governing, so that we can have morals and ethics in choosing who it is we elect. Yeah? Because right now, we are not choosing anybody. Yeah. We're being moved by our Satan inside. And the Satans that are screaming outside, making all kinds of, got to have more guns, got to abort more babies, got to do everything you can possibly think of that would give us more sin. Yeah? Let's all do the wrong thing as much as we possibly can. Yeah? But our real reality is that we have, in the year 2025, Jesus Christ has been on the earth for 74 years. Yeah? In 74 years, Jesus Christ has blessed, not other people, just Jesus Christ, has blessed the earth to protect it from the man called Trump. Yeah. And that's by enclosing Trump in the light of Jesus Christ and calling on the fact that he has less power every day, that he gets up and he breathes and he does the things he does. Less power, because he's on the wrong clock. For him to fulfill anything, he would have to be half the age he is. He's on the wrong clock. He's on Satan's clock. And Satan planned everything. Planned Washington, D.C. Satan planned ceremonial magic. Satan planned events and time and cycles to close the door for us to recognize Jesus Christ and to follow the Antichrist. Yeah? To make it more attractive to follow the Antichrist and make this an Antichrist world, an outcome. But that would mean that in 2016, Trump would not only become president, but he would be continued to be president. And that would further Putin into a nuclear war, which is right the same boat we're in now, except that if he was president and Putin is president, they'd be gangbusters in the hostility era. Oh yeah, you say this. Oh yeah, I say that. Oh yeah, I'm going to throw nuclear bombs at you. Oh yeah, you do that to me. You know that's how Trump would behave. And in the life that we're seeing right now, Putin, without a Trump, that's how he's behaving. Put the two together, we have a world complete Holocaust. A complete Holocaust. And no one would stop it because the Antichrist is running it. Yeah? The key thing is to knock the Antichrist out by Jesus. By Jesus. Yeah? So that's a tough scenario. So I want you to, this isn't just things I'm saying. These are things that have been developed and understood for a long, long time. Understanding that the Antichrist would come through the government of the United States. Understanding that many of the things that were ceremonially designed by Masons were designed to bring Apollo into incarnation and bring about the manifestation of the governing body of Satan. You know, this is how we are set up. Geometrically, it's a terrible thing. So here's a little something for you to watch.
Before and after the presidency of Donald Trump, the United States was, and now it is again, on what I would call an intentional trajectory to fulfill what famous Freemason Manly P. Hall described as the secret destiny of America, which includes a future national and global subservience to the God of Freemasonry, a deity that most Americans would not imagine when reciting the Pledge of Allegiance to one nation. In my book, Zenith 2016, which among other things noted that the year of Donald Trump's presidential election had been foreseen by prophets and sages for thousands of years as the apex date, when governments would begin shifting toward the spirit that is predicted on the Great Seal of the United States, the Antichrist, followed by the actual man of sin's arrival and acceptance on the global stage in the year 2025, which people will discover in the new book Zeitgeist 2025. But this was to illustrate the point in my book Zenith 2016 that one definitely would not determine that the God in America's official motto refers to the Father of Jesus or a biblical Trinity. According to this prophecy, this is Apollo, the son of Jupiter, or Zeus, who returns to Earth through mystical life given to him from the gods when the deity Saturn, or Jupiter, returns to reign over the cosmos in a new pagan golden age, what the alignment of Jupiter and Saturn on December 21, 2020 forecast, which many, by the way, including pastors, were erroneously referring to as the Christmas star. According to the Greek text, the Magi followed an asteroid, not a stationary star alignment, whose trajectory led them to Bethlehem. But it was the closest that these two planets have appeared together in approximately 800 years not long ago, and it did indeed forecast the arrival of a messianic son, the false one, whose spirit will reside in the beast of Revelation 17 incarnate, a pagan savior, born of a new breed of men sent down from heaven when heroes and gods are blended together. This sounds eerily similar to what the Watchers did during the creation of Genesis 6 giants, doesn't it? And why many believe that Antichrist also represents the return of the Nephilim. In Washington, D.C., where she stands as familiar Lady Justice, blindfolded and holding scales and a sword. She represents, according to the prophecy, the enforcement of secular law, and is, according to this Sibyl's conjure, the authority that's going to require global compliance to the zenith of Satan's dominion, concurrent with the coming of Apollo. The identity of the god Apollo, coded in the Great Seal of the United States as the Masonic Messiah who's going to return to rule the earth, is the same spirit, verified by the same name that will inhabit the political leader of the end times New World Order. For instance, according to key Bible prophecies, the Antichrist will be the progeny or the incarnation of the ancient spirit of likewise ties the coming of Antichrist with Apollo, revealing that the beast shall ascend from the bottomless pit and enter into him. It says, the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition, Apoleia, Apollo. And they that dwell on earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was, and is not, and yet is. End quote.
Donald Trump considers himself to be Apollo, the god of the sun, light, music, and prophecy. After Rini's fresco in the Casino dell'Aurora in the Palazzo Pallavicini in Rome. It was painted for Cardinal Scipione Borghese in 1614. It shows the passage of Apollo, the sun god's chariot, which is preceded by Aurora, dawn, who casts roses onto earth below. She is accompanied by an amaretto bearing a lighted torch, who has been identified as Phosphorus, the morning star. The fresco was much copied, from reduced copies in oil, or engravings. National Trust Collections registered charity number 205,846. The painting is called Apollo in his chariot preceded by Aurora painting on display in his Trump Tower New York City penthouse suite. Focus on the ceiling. Look closely. Above. It shows a scene of Greek or Roman gods, and seems likely to be Apollo again, who is often portrayed crossing the heavens in his chariot and the royal scepter in his right hand, and then there is an image of The Economist magazine 2017 cover page. The world in 2017. Planet Trump. Do you notice how Trump is holding the royal scepter in his right hand, and an orb in his left hand? Trump imagines himself as the living embodiment of the god Apollo. Apollo, the god of the sun, light, music, and poetry. Look at the golden, shiny orb in Trump's left hand. I've zoomed in the image.
Who is Eric Zemmour? A quick Google search will give you a primer. Maybe even set you up for disappointment. The man is Jewish, but a Holocaust denier. His supporters are unruly. And this is how Eric Zemmour looks. He is 63 years old, he has no election experience, but now he is running for office. Zemmour blames migrants and Muslims for what he calls the decline of France. The man has been convicted of hate speech one too many times. The recent conviction was in January. A court found Zemmour guilty of racist hate. He has said that migrant children were thieves, killers, rapists. We should send them back. The man also wants a ban on the hijab, also a ban on names that are not French enough. Zemmour became a familiar face in 2021. That's courtesy his book tour, when he left no page unturned to promote his anti-migrant and anti-Muslim views. He also said that fears of the Wuhan virus were overblown. Dreaming about for 20 years, he added. Zemmour's list of icons also includes Russian President Vladimir Putin. The presidential hopeful once said he was dreaming of having a French Putin. Will his dream come true?
Interesting, huh? So, you vote someone like Trump into office, which is a pre-arranged scenario by demons, by a lot of demons. Yeah, Trump being one of them. But the whole arrangement that brought it into place allowed evil to be attracted to bring more evil. Yeah. So here we got Trump, and now all of a sudden this guy out of France, he wants to be another Trump and become the president of France. But he wants to be evil just like Trump. So he could say, build a wall, and he could say, you know, let's get rid of all the migrant little kids, you know, because they're all rapists when they grow up, you know, all that kind of stuff. You know, so he is not pulling any punches. He's going all the way. He's even saying, oh, Jews, there never was a Holocaust, you know, and even though he's a Jew, you know. So the entire process that Trump moved was feeling the influence of the whole of humanity as Satanists, as people who have lived within Satan's realm so naturally in their 7 deadly sins, you know, whether it be slovenly or, you know, gluttony or, you know, all these different things that every single human being by nature expresses, you know. I mean, I ask people to work out, you know, and, you know, strength training, you know, eat only carnivore diet, you know, that shoots the shit out of gluttony. Yeah, it really puts you straight into, you know, is this the right thing to do? Because do you know what is the right thing to do? If you were to do the right thing, trust me, you would feel a whole lot better about yourself, about the whole world, about everything. Yeah. Because There's something inside that tells you this is all wrong and I'm in danger. Yeah, really. It's a nervousness, it's an anxiety. It makes you just not want to join in, you know. But then you go, what's the matter with me? You know, what am I, a conspirator? I don't trust people. Why can't you just trust people? People are good, you know. What's wrong with people, you know? That's not what you're afraid of. What you're afraid of is the fact you do not know what you're supposed to eat. If you don't, you kind of find out when you die of all the things you ate, and they were the wrong things. And you could have lived a whole different life. The food you eat cause you mental and emotional and physical illnesses. It does. It's a matter of fact. You can't just, these 7 deadly sins are going to destroy you in this life, but it'll ruin your future lives. Yeah? So everything about what I do, what I teach, you know, is to conquer the 7 deadly sins. Conquer them, you know, where you just simply don't have them. You know, now you're eating a steak and you're eating eggs. You may not eat a whole bunch, but you're trying. And every day and every week, you feel safer. Yeah? And your body gets stronger and your emotions get more stable. Because you don't know you have chakras. You don't know your chakras are connected to your glands. And your glands are connected to your organs. And your organs are connected to your entire body physical. And it's all electric. Yeah? And all of that needs to be worked out. It needs to be developed. That's why I do meditation. That's why I have people use etheric weavers, because they have a very subtle electromagnetic pulse that calms people down. Yeah? And when you use it, you're so sensitive. You're so much God's child. You immediately react. Yeah? That's a great thing. It's a great thing. That's why I do all I do. Because I know only the devils are the devils. And they're all going to go away. And they will judge themselves. I don't have to judge anybody. You're all in shit right now. You know? And you don't know the difference between who's good and who's bad. You don't know. And you're not going to figure it out. You know? You're not going to heal yourself by knowing that or anything like that. But I can heal you by changing your chakras to get your brow to go up here, get your 4th ray to go down there, but you have to do as I say. Yeah? Because there is order in the world, and you are not God. And there is no book of instruction from God. He gives his Son for that. And if you don't want to listen to the oral instructions of the Son of God, then you're lost. You're lost. Yeah? Because I don't have big instructions. I don't go, oh, you got to pray at sunset, and you got to go to the east, you know, and you got to get on your knees, and yeah, you know. No, I don't do any of that. I say you ought to listen to me. Listen to my voice. This is my nature. It's not your nature, but get used to my nature, because then you'll get Satan out of you. Because you don't know your nature is Satan's nature. And you need to be reborn. And if you do this, you'll be healed. But you won't be healing yourself. You'll be healing the elements of the noosphere, and the biosphere, and the geosphere. When I get you to do the things that are right, the elements inside of you respond, and those are the whole world. It's the whole world. We are the weather. Yeah? Our 5th ray bullshit is the worst tornado on earth. Our 1st ray bullshit is the worst earthquakes and fires and destruction found in nature. We got to get rid of those things in people. You do not need a 1st ray personality for any reason whatsoever. But you got them. Yeah? And you have 5th ray souls, and you have 5th ray physical bodies and fifth ray emotional bodies of all freaking things. That's scary. And if you haven't got that, you've got sixth ray everywhere. You know? And a sixth ray emotional body, or sixth ray personality, or sixth ray physical body. There's only a few rays that are options for humans. You have 7 rays, but you only use 3. And mostly 2. Yeah. I mean, if you have a fifth ray soul, you likely have maybe a fifth ray emotional body. If you have a first ray personality, you likely have a first ray physical body and a first ray mental body, you know. So you don't get a lot of choices. You don't get like 7 different rays, you know, to make up this really neat orchestrated reality for you. Not really. It's 1 or 2, and that's it. And that makes you you. That's why your personality is so small. It matters very little. What does matter is the 7 chakras that you have to radiate joy and peace and caring and empathy and the ability to do exactly the way I say to do it. Yeah? Yeah? The person's picture in front of you, the person's name in front of you, and you're working on their process. Because that is, in your heart, that's the right thing to do. And if any of us does the right thing, we make other people feel better about themselves, even though they don't have the opportunity to follow the teaching. Because all of our fifth ray bullshit up here in the brow, the moment we let it go, we help all our brothers and sisters to let go of that fifth ray in the brow. The only reason it's there is because you don't follow the Lord. Yeah, it's difficult because I say things and you go, oh, I'll think about that. You know, how about if I, work that out over the next month or 2 or 6 years? You know, it's every single thing. I don't ask people to do easy things. I ask people to be carnivore, or keto. If you're a carnivore and you live in a carnivore state, you're mono, yeah? That means you're getting rid of everything you don't know of, but you are eating, and you don't know whether or not any of that is bad for you mentally, emotionally, or physically. You don't know, yeah? So and you can't just go about not eating to find out, because you're just going to die of starvation, yeah? And you'll get other symptoms, yeah? So if you go to a mono diet, and the key mono diet in heaven is meat, not a vegetable, not eating a lot of carrots or a lot of onions or a lot of grapefruit or any of those in any way, shape, or form. That would make you sicker. Yeah? Because every fruit, every vegetable, everything out there in those areas have toxins in them. Yeah? They're in there in order to keep other plants from being infected by them. They push them away. They make them poisons. They make them extringents or something like that. Things that make you poop, things that make you not poop, things that make you have diarrhea. That plants do that. And they make animals very uncomfortable if they eat them. So the plants live. They exist. They don't exist to be eaten. If you've ever studied plants, you'll find that every time you take a carrot, and you're sensitive, and you put a monitor to it, and you put speakers on it and everything, and all of a sudden you take the carrot and you cut it like that. You have 3 or 4 carrots over here you've also hooked up, and they're all going, like, what was that, Oh, that's you cutting the carrot in half. But they're all screaming. Yeah, they're all screaming. Yeah, they all feel it. Yeah, every one of them. Yeah, and that was like, that would totally blow away your 4th ray at your brow. You just go, oh no, now I can't, I don't want to harm, oh no, they're screaming, oh no. Of course they're screaming. Of course they're screaming. Everything has life. Everything has life. Everything has life. Just because it's quiet, just because a dog doesn't talk, doesn't mean it can't communicate. Doesn't mean it can't feel. Doesn't mean it doesn't have soul. Just because a plant can't talk, just because a tree can't, all these things that we think are subjective influences. things that we could feel are similarities to ourselves. We can't do that. We have to objectify everything. Yeah? Everything has to be in that separate place. Yeah? And there is no life in anything. Does that make sense? If I show you this bowl, there's no way your mind would think that that has life. This is life. But it is. Yeah? It has a psychokinetic ability. I have life. Life is psychic. Yeah? And life charges things. Yeah? They become illuminated. Yeah? They vibrate. They carry energy that balances. Yeah? So there isn't a thing in the world that can't carry life. Memories, thoughts. Yeah? All the things that we have as consciousness. If we develop consciousness, it goes into all of our objects, into our car, into our clothes, all the people who meet us, the whole earth that we stand on becomes similar. You can't be separate. There's no such thing unless you have a fifth ray in your sacral center. Now you're a black magician. You're a heartless being, incarnated out of hell, manifested in Satan's nature. Therefore, you don't feel empathy toward anything. Nothing has life. Nothing. The only way it has a form of life is if you can put a value on it. How much is that car? How much is this? You know, and that's totally fifth ray at her sacral center, and putting fourth ray up there, and all these. That's the only way these chakras get the way they are in this unhealthy state. Yeah, is by us behaving this way. Behaving. Yeah. And so we can't behave this way. And if we don't behave this way, and I'm telling you all these things so that one day you'll go, that's what Jesus said, and I'm not listening to my Satan anymore. One day you're going to say that to yourself. Yeah? You're going to, you know your name. You know your name. Yeah? Stop calling it that. Give it for a real name. Give it a real name. Have a conversation with Satan. And see whether or not you like it. Because you're going to find it gets upset. It's a separate being. It's your personality. It's a separate being. It's a series of elements that make up your nature. Not who you are at all. And then you're going to redirect it. Because Jesus said. And you don't give a shit what your name is. That is really Satan. Yeah? Because you're not important. It's not that you're not important. It's just that you don't exist and you're harmful to all things that do exist. So I'd like this to be worked out. Yeah? Be really important for everybody and anybody. Yeah? So in order for this to work, we have to relinquish, the influences of our personality and give ourselves over to the Lord. So that means you got to listen to my teaching, you got to listen to my pujas, you got to listen. And then if you just listen to my pujas, that lets you go, wow, I've got a relationship with Buddha, I'm his student, I listen to his pujas, I got a weaver, all that kind of shit. But that really doesn't make it. That does not make a difference in you. It does not change you. Because if you've ever met me, I always give personal direction. Yeah? You just may not want to hear it. Yeah? And I don't repeat it. It's very rare. Maybe 10, 15, 20 years later will I bring it up again. Because there's no value in trying to work spiritual matters with someone who chooses not to take a soulful change in life, direction from a teacher. Yeah? So those things go by really slow. But when we come up to this time, year 2025, and we have Trump, and Trump is like busting ass to make sure he makes it through. He couldn't be reelected because he wouldn't be president in 2025. Yeah. You got to think about this, folks, because this isn't a God thing. This is a Satan thing. And Satan isn't looking out after you. Satan's looking out after Putin and Trump. Yeah? And then you. Making sure that you're in a state of inertia and that Jesus could be right in front of your face, but you're not following his instructions. And as long as you're not following his instructions, he's not governing anybody. And that's what I'm here for. And if you don't allow me to do that, you're Satan yourself. Actually there, sitting, knowing, yeah, and just going, so what's he going to do about it? I'm not going to change. Yeah, what's he going to do? Yeah, you'll find out. You're going to find out real soon. Because this isn't the game. This isn't the game. There are two plots going on. It's a pentacle. We're coming to a point. If you're not fully in line, completely in line with what's going to happen in 25, then you'll be right on that boat, sinking. And it'll be over with by the year 2030. Which means you would be living in the continent that has a nuclear disaster. You'd be living in the location that has nobody waking up. You'd be going through the process for those 10, 15 years of people thinking that we're going to be in an apocalypse. And how many more terrible dictators are we going to have coming out? The guy in North Korea actually did 3 nuclear bombs by the time we got to 2030. That starts scaring you pretty good. Putin blows up 2 nuclear bombs over the next 6 months. Starts to scare you. Especially if you have relatives in that area. Yeah? Because these nuclear bombs are 500 times that of a regular nuclear bomb. And they like to blow them up in the ocean and create tsunamis, and then that tsunami has radiation in it, so when it covers the whole land is polluted with radioactivity. That's a plan of Putin's right now for Europe, all of Denmark, all of UK, all coastal line European nations. 2 nuclear bombs, that's all it will take. And he's got it already deployed, already figured out. You know? This is your guru. Yeah? The guru that brings about inertia, that brings about 70, here I've been here now, this is going to be on 71 years. Yeah? But nobody's at a place of knowing to the point to where they receive. Receiving means that all of a sudden you're healed. Because I'm a healer. But I'm not going to heal your ass unless you're my student. I'm not what you think. I'm not going around grabbing people and healing the sick and, bringing back legs and, going to live my life like that. I'm not going to do it. You will heal in every possible way. And you will end disease and you will gain age beyond your wildest imagination solely because of me. Not anything else, not because of a machine, not because of anything like that, but because of your chakras and because the Lord is on the earth. Yeah? And the Lord is the tree of life. The Lord brings life. Yeah? And we got to shut this thing down. You don't have much time. When I'm talking major earthquakes, major tornadoes, major earth problems, because your emotions are 2/5 ray. Imagine all these tornadoes come. But what happens? The people don't move. Why? Too much 5th ray. They go, well, I'll just rebuild. I can't leave this town. I'll just rebuild. I'm glad we all didn't die. I'll just rebuild. Stupid shit. I mean, how stupid can you get? Pretty stupid when you got a 5th ray at your base center, all the way down here in your sacral, pushing everything down here, every single thing down here into the lowest part of thinking and action and behaving. An earthquake comes your way. you move right back. You know? Fire everywhere. No, I'm not going to clear 100, 200 feet away from my building. I'm not going to do that. But maybe you should. Or maybe you shouldn't live in a forest. Yeah? But that's action. And in order to have a soul, in order to have our chakras in the right place, we get action. It takes action to push the chakra into that position. It takes action. Yeah? When you're in a hostile condition and things are all emotional and all freaked out and somebody's really so, emotional and thinking terrible thoughts, what should you do? Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Take that fifth ray right there. Take a deep breath. And just realize what I need is my brow to be relaxed. Yeah. Because I'm taking this personally. And everything is spiritual if you put the fifth ray at the brow. No matter what the circumstance is, if you put it at the brow. If you don't, it will become personal. And you will judge back and forth in your lower mind of criticism and judgment and assumption and illusions and delusions and confusions in every manner. And you'll never get anything done. No one will ever feel healed. No one. Yeah. It requires you to take a breath. You have to take a breath. And then that fifth ray comes up because you're a disciple to Christ. Because that's what Christ says to do. And you do it. And you react. You respond. It heals. And you radiate out, what it's like to have a fifth ray at a brow during a chaotic scenario. And that creates the Sangha. It takes a group of people, a good group of people, to behave like this in the Sangha, practicing the Sangha. I meditate, I have mindfulness, I think in these ways, I speak in these ways. If I don't, I immediately shut the fuck up. Get my act together, quiet down a bit, take a deep breath, wait. Yeah, and then let it come back out. And it'll come back out in a totally different way. Because if you don't do this, you will be connected to the lowest of humanity, the people who have fifth ray souls, first ray personalities, fifth ray physical bodies, fifth ray, all the chakras that are unhealthy or in the wrong place are people who you will take direction from. People who molest you, people who tear you down, people who claim that they're better than you, people who find fault in you, people who judge you. All that are those wrong rays in the wrong place. And they, because of the unhealthy rays, by them doing that, it affects you to have unhealthy rays. It's only affecting the unhealthy rays. They're not after your heart. Your heart would be listening, they would be listening, It's about tearing the heart down, eliminating it, making it so in a state of a lack of use, a lack of function whatsoever, because all these other chakras and the emotions and the mind and having to know why, all of that has no second ray in it at all. And that's your pie, that's your whole life. Imagine if you have 4 sections of a pie, and you live in a fifth ray and a first ray and a sixth ray. Holy crap, where's God going to be there? You're going to get shit done in a day. You're going to have your bed made. You're going to eat. You're going to sleep. You're going to clean yourself. But that only requires 3 rays. A dog does that. Rats do that. Humans, we're a little bit on the higher side. We actually are here to serve other people. Yeah, we have so much extra that we can think of, responding to other people who can't respond and help them through the process of being able to respond and get what it takes to them. Yeah. These are all things that are in the vices or in the glamours are in those qualities that are inside of humanity. And the only way to get rid of them is by doing your best to do what I say. Practice the things I say. Listen to, what I'm teaching about. And consider yourself, am I doing that? Am I doing, if Jesus was rapping, is this how we would do it? Because this is his, and am I just stepping in and playing a mechanical part of getting a weaver done? No, you're not. I don't see it that way. Anybody who chooses to work with my tools, if they choose to work with me, they do it my way. Yeah, and then the person is blessed. But if they don't, I have to accept that. Because people are not perfect. People are Satan. And you can't force Satan into an exorcism. Can't do it. You have to ask people to behave and do what I say. And don't go, I'll think about it, or I'm too prideful, I can't do that, it bothers me, Whatever reasons you come up with are just, failure to respond to the Lord. And it's a rare thing to have the Lord in the world speaking, communicating, helping to share you to get what you need. Yeah, because there's nothing in what I'm teaching is a waste of your time. Yeah, all of it is there for to help you with your daily peculiarities, how you sleep, how you eat, how you behave with other people, how you talk with other people. I'm very, very focused on that. But these are the subtlest, simplest things. It's not a big thing. I'm not bringing out a book of the Bible and, that you got to do any quotes or anything, I'm just asking people to listen and do it. Yeah? And then gain from it because I know the truth. And no matter what I say, if you don't just try it, yeah, you won't be in my shoes. But you're not that second ray. So I have to tell you what to do, how to do it, to be like me, so that you then mechanically try and be like that. Yeah? And you're getting in my shoes. And that's the job of the second ray, all of us, is that we're to walk in everybody's shoes, yeah? And never have a compromising feeling toward another person because we're in their shoes and we know how difficult that is, yeah? And we can help them out of it only if you are walking in the shoes of Jesus, yeah? But you can't ask them to walk in your shoes when you're an asshole. That don't work. You don't get into another person's shoes if you're an asshole. Does that make sense? Yeah? You have to be extremely non-prideful. You have to be incredibly humble. Yeah? I mean, these are my things. Yeah? It is what I am. Yeah? And for anything to go out into the world, and here I'm counting down on time frames of circumstances, and many of us, some of us are in our 70s and some of us are in our 60s, Well, those of us who are in our 70s, you probably only have 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years to go, So clean it up, make it right, These processes that is being asked for people to move through is a process so that we will come outside of ourselves, yeah, and not be selfish. To come outside yourself that's the only reason why I'm teaching. I teach you things that are not of yourself, yeah. Be carnivore, do these things, do keto, and the reason why you do keto is because in the mono you're cleansing all of those impurities, right? But you do this for at least 3, 4, 5 months. You build up in that process and you cleanse yourself. Your bowels change dramatically. Your intestines start cleansing and healing and start creating their own ability to do what they're meant to do, rather than being, a compost pile, which is what they are. They're a compost pile. We're not made to be a compost pile. You don't put meat in a compost pile. Does that make sense? It's not something you do. It's not a healthy thing, yeah? Vegetables go in a compost pile. They break down and they make dirt, yeah? But that's not what we do. We don't make dirt, yeah? We make poop, yeah? Just plain ass simple poop and pee, yeah? But it takes all the nutrients out of whatever it is, but our body builds nutrients and we don't know it. Our body creates a lot of nutrients and we have no idea. And all these people are telling us, well, you need those nutrients out of carrots and out of lettuce and out of fruits and vegetables and out of special water and mushrooms from China and all this stuff. You can't get enlightenment unless you got that going on, let alone a healthy body. Well, in reality, we're very healthy if we fast, because our body regenerates by working with the glands and the organs, by creating the different hormones that become food products. Hormones manifest in ways that become like a food product. They create building blocks for the body. They create your muscles, they create your bones. Your hormones do that. Yeah? You lack in those hormones, you'll get a brittle body, you'll lose your ability to have a functioning heart. All these things will become dysfunctional. And that's because of your hormones. And that's based on your chakras. Yeah? So 90% of all of this is done on your harmlessness, and you're being a Buddhist, and you're being a full of light, good person. Yeah? But in my ashram, I know everybody is fucked up, and mistreated, and in complete ignorance. And the foods they get are the most unhealthy things offered on a planet. Yeah. So I have to really jump over on that one and try and get people to change that dramatically. Because I can do everything I can to say, okay, meditate, do all this, but shit, you're going to be eating ice cream every night, and you're going to be eating, different forms of sugar, that you can maintain yourself with, and that takes a good many years. Get that out of your diet, to get the organs to work, get the chakras to come back, and start to function as a spiritual being. I mean, you got hundreds of minor chakras, you got 7 major chakras. They all control lymph glands and organs. Yeah? And you wonder why you're dying of cancer, of lymphatic cancer. And almost all cancers are from those lymphatic regions. Yeah? And it's because your minor chakras have no function, reason to be existing. We don't even know why we have a pancreas. We're not really sure why we have, these glands on our body. Let's just get rid of it. Oh yeah, appendix. Oh yeah, swollen. Whatever. Get rid of it. Doesn't do anything. I don't know. We'll figure it out later. Gallbladder. It hurts. Get rid of it. Yeah. We'll figure it out later. Yeah, sure. It doesn't work that way, people. Please just do your best. Do your best to listen to my very simple directions. Carnivore. Eat carnivore. Work your way up to it. It could take months, because it can cause bowel movements to be really erratic, and just because it's hormones in this lymphatic glands, and you have no idea. No one teaches any of this. That this is real reality, that we are a spiritual being, and we need to take directly from the animal kingdom and eat from it, period. Not from the vegetable kingdom, because that's where all the poisons are at. Yeah, there's poisons in animals too, so hey, hello, we don't eat those either. So when it comes down to it, really, the cattle is God's plan. Kind of like Krishna. Yeah. And it's so natural. It's so easy. They're so abundant. They're so big. Feed a whole block. Have a great barbecue on one animal. Yeah. And you raise them, and it's animal husbandry. It's everything in our nature that we're meant to be in a very normal, civilized way. Yeah? But we have to heal those organs, these glands, these chakras, to get it right. And then you have to change your pride. Move toward using, now you're mentally not as mentally ill. You're physically not as physically ill. Yeah? You're emotionally not as emotionally disturbing. Yeah? Yeah? You're mentally a little clearer, and you could take direction now. Where before, I'll think about it. And then continue on in your habitual pattern. Never changing. Yeah? But once this kind of comes in, your mind opens up. You know, I even legalized marijuana, so this is helping to move things even more. But these fifth-rate people, they don't do marijuana. You know, I don't need it. I'm real smart. I don't need it. They're the stupidest people on earth. That's why they don't do it. Because they don't have enough intelligence to know that they need to do that. You know, when you got a fifth rate at the Sacral Center, holy shit, you don't need marijuana. You need nothing. You know, all you need is your ego, your pride, your mind, you know, your way of interpreting what you see on TV, what you interpret in a book. I'm so smart, I understand it. I really got it, you know, and that gets nowhere. It affects absolutely not one human being on planet Earth. Yeah? But what does affect people is the right behavior. Carrying out the right behavior. Yeah? So doing that and moving in that direction will move a lot of people in the right way. But being able to take the teachings and change what's going to happen in the year 2025 up to the year 2030. And we're talking, I've been warning you. I told you about the illnesses that were going to come and everything, and then we got the plague. Yeah? And I said, oh, well, there we are, you know. But that's nothing, folks. Nothing, you know. But still, people are still fifth ray at the sacral. I'm still saying, can you try doing it this way? You know, and it's like, I'll think about it maybe, you know, I don't know. You know, and it just, you know, so I know that the outcome for humanity is going to work out according to their karma. I can't change their karma because they're not willing to move into dharma. In their illusion, you know, I'm in dharma. I'm a Buddhist, you know, but being in dharma means you have to turn the wheel. Yeah, that means you have to listen to the teacher, the Buddha, who gives you the teaching of the dharma, and then without pride, with humility, with meditation and right thought, and all those things that I'm asking you to do, you know, makes a person capable of stepping beyond that hard ray that they're dominated by. Whether it be a fifth ray or first ray, any of those rays that makes them prideful and arrogant, you know, they weaken and they start feeling a conscience. Maybe I'm not doing the right thing. And they can hear my words and go, huh, I remember when the Lord said, oh no, now I said the Lord. I used to say Buddha, and then I said Jesus, and now I'm saying the Lord. Oh my God. Satan's completely out of me. This is ridiculous. Yeah? Because there are stages to this process of people being able to accept the Christ over the Antichrist. Yeah? Right now, the open process is Buddha anything, religion? Does he even believe in God or anything? So you, as a Satan, could accept a Buddhist teacher. Does that make sense? So I can come out into your satanic world and say, I am Buddha, Maitreya, and you go, well, that kind of fits my satanic value. All people can be smart. Yeah, fifth ray, fifth ray, fifth ray. No fifth ray here. I've got the fifth ray there, but everything else is down here. I'm intelligent. I'm smart. Yeah, I could too become a Buddha. You know, pride, arrogance. Yeah, I'll be a Buddhist. I'll join that one. You know. And then after a while, you know, I go, well, you know, but I reincarnate, and one of my lives was Jesus. Oh, Jesus, huh? Well, I don't see why that doesn't affect me the same way. I like Buddha. Can we just stick with Buddha? No, you need to go on to Jesus now and speak of Jesus. You know? And it's a really hard thing when the fifth ray is trying to say anything about the Lord, you know, because they have all these agreements and contracts with their mother and their father and the place they were born. All those contracts, they have to die in this life and maybe reincarnate 100 times before this can really happen. But I'm making it possible that it can happen in this life. In less than 10 years, a person can be reborn. Less than 10 years. Because I'm making it possible. I love people. Yeah? Even though you're a bad student, even though you're arrogant, even though you're prideful, even though you're disrespectful in every term, yeah? Even though, still love you, yeah? But I'm not allowing you back unless you make it through this one turn. And we all have to the year 2035 to finish that turn. Very few people sitting around today who's in their 50s or 40s or 60s is going to be around in 2035. They just don't have the healthy atmosphere that would bring them good life and good long life. You know, so everybody lives an average of around 60 to 85 years. You know, so between now and the year 2035, we're talking quite a bit of time. You know, close to 25 years. Add that on to where you're at. What's the chance of still being alive? Yeah. So what is the goal here? Is the goal to make this a better world? Yeah. And is it possible you could see that the world is the way it is because of yourself? Yeah. And that you have to change. If you think that who you are and what you got going on and how you see life and how you have everything going, you know, is the way it's supposed to be, because that's the way you see it. Yeah. You're your own artist. Yeah. You're your own canvas, yeah? Little Satan, yeah? Little Apollo, yeah? Yeah. Or everybody's got that going on, yeah? But we're not. We're not any of that, yeah? We're actually God's child. And we've never allowed God to make us into his child, which would make you a saint, yeah? It would make you the closest friend to his son. And that's how you get to be a saint. Yeah? Because it's not a separate scenario. There's not a separate thing about God being separate from humanity. You know, the incarnation of God takes place inside of humanity. Not like Apollo, where you come from Hades, you know, you manifest in the world and you're so separate and diluted and grossed by all the bad things you can ever imagine, because you don't really come from here and you don't come from heaven. You come from hell. Yeah? And then they become, you know, your heaven. Yeah? You see Trump and you go, wow, Playboy, he's only raped so many little girls. By the time he's in his 70s, you know, people have gone, hey, maybe we shouldn't rape little girls. Maybe we should say that's wrong. Let's start finding pedophiles. Let's use the word pedophile more frequently, you know. And oh, look at that. We're having to round up a lot of friends of Trump. You know, how about that? The worst one in the world is his closest friend lives down the street. Oh, well, anyway, shake it off. Yeah. You know, because that is the way it's going to happen. I am walking in people's shoes. Right now, I'm walking in people who are Satan's. And I'm not letting them carry out this ceremony that they're planning on. They want Trump to be president in 2024. They want Putin and the guy you just saw in France and the guy in China and the guy in North Korea and several other places like Spain and other locations who have dictators that are just waiting to come into fruition and manifest into the world a nuclear holocaust of hate, prejudice, no migration. Imagine you have wars everywhere and you don't allow anybody to migrate. Wow. I mean, it's bad enough to be a war, but to, you know, just close down your gates and just say you're a bunch of rapists, molesters, Nazis. That's where we're going, folks. Chaos to the extreme, like a melting pot of chaos, and people are thrown into the melting pot. And there's not a way out of it, except me. And I'm willing to do all the changes. I'm willing to go drive an Echo around the United States for 8 hours a day, and sleep in a camper for a year, and do whatever it takes to help change this place. Travel to Tibet, be possibly shot by any number of communists. Travel to Europe, there's so many freaking insane Satanists there. Chance of me living through that is really not so good. But that's what I do. And I have no guards. I have no security. I don't fly in certain ways that allows me never to be harmed or anybody to affect me in any way. Nothing. I leave it up to God. And I trust myself in God. But you're not in the same boat. Not at all. But I'm willing to walk through this process and continue to go through this process so that you would wake up the areas in yourself that say, I don't think I need to change that much. I don't need to offer that much. I don't need to help the poor. I don't need to give to Shambhala. I don't need all these things that you do, that you shouldn't. I mean, Shambhala, of all the things we do more for the earth than any other place on earth, but yet we do not receive hardly any money in support. And I'm out on, big magazines and all this shit for the last 2 years. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Why? Because people are in league with Satan. And they are on a plot. They're focused on a plot. But I don't give up. So if everybody just kind of sticks with me, eats their meal, listen to their puja, do what they're meant to be doing, you will turn out okay. You will be fine. But your energy will be used for the noosphere. Your daily change, your willingness to take that picture and put it in front of you and do each individual one individually and then send it off to that person with a blessing and an om and a phone call. Because that's the kind of person Jesus is, and I want to be Jesus' disciple. That's what I believe. That will happen. If that happens, we'll save the world. But how many Satans do we have that will remain as Satan and never take these teachings and never move in that direction? A lot. A whole lot. So it's really important that everybody recognizes. You may think you're just an individual, but imagine if you have no vote, then what effect do you have in a world of governing democracy and bringing about change? With Christ, you have a vote. But if you think that governor is going to be the outcome of your vote, you're wrong. You have to vote for yourself. You have to make sure that you are the person that is strong, courageous, and understanding, and doing the right things. You have to keep moving in that direction every day. Because old habits maintain your personality. And that does not affect the noosphere. Your personality is in the geosphere, people. Rocks, gas and oil. That which is destroying you. That which will destroy the earth. Gas and oil. And rocks and their pressure. And their earthquakes. And their geothermal and geophysical aspects. And they create weather situations you cannot believe. And it's that way because you are too dense in your lower emotional, mental bodies. You have to become good Buddhists. You have to. And you have to change. If you're anywhere near the same in 1 month, you have not done anything to change. If you haven't found that you have to change a lot, you should reconsider your situation. Because I'd really rather have people who are willing to change and do as I say. Not under, this is direct dictator bullshit. This is just the way Christ needs the light to penetrate the earth, to heal the earth, and not through some satanic, prideful, arrogant bullshit. Yeah? So everybody, every single person, here we are, we're going into 2025. How much can we change? How much can we dramatically change? Yeah? To bring about a perfect clarity in the world. Yeah? Yeah. Imagine I did a darshan in Shambhala, now I'm going to go do a darshan in Omaha, then I'm going to go do a darshan in Glastonbury, then I'm going to go do a darshan in Nepal. Yeah, and that's for 2 weeks. Yeah, so that's a lot of monasteries, a lot of places to hit, and a lot of teachings to give. And every time I'm doing that, the light goes up dramatically, permeates and heals the planet, heals the nations. But if the people are pissing and shitting and destroying the earth while I'm doing that, it'll be a very slow effect. Just like it has been since the early 2000s. Very slow effect. Why? Because they don't put a picture in front of them. They don't put the name of the person in front of them. They don't wrap the form in that form. And they don't allow the light to carry through Christ. They allow it to be their personality. And that's fully acceptable. Fully acceptable. You accept that throughout time, and you know that these people are blocking Christ. They're the Antichrist. The actual working activities of the Antichrist to block the Christ. Where the work of the Christ is fantastic. Can you imagine? All the tools I put out, everything I put out. But how come nobody knows Christ is here? Maybe there's what's going in it isn't the disciple of Christ. Yeah? Does that make sense? Yeah? So it's just like if you speak to someone, help someone do other things out there, and you're all sixth ray and you're whatever way you are, if you're not right in yourself at all times, and when you begin to share my influence, and people go, wow, like when I create events and groups, it attracts people to it that are like-minded and very open now, because there are students and extended students that are waking up, and that's making a major difference in the process of externalization. So by the time I come back around from Nepal and begin 5 or 6 states when I get back, because when I get back it'll be around September, October, I'll probably be doing Phoenix and Texas and a few other lower states right after that. So I'll continue doing the United States for a whole year and probably reaching about 30 states over a year's time. So it all depends on whether or not the influence that's going out and change in people is going to manifest in the people that I'm working with. Or I used to go out and I'd be shot at every time. I've been shot at so many. I've had people shoot at me with machine guns. Yeah. I was in a house and I had a guy surround my house with a machine gun, and he was caught outside. Yeah, and forced into a car and taken away. And then we were put on a plane and sent to Nepal at night. And another place, I was in Salt Lake City and I was going to give a teaching, and a lady came up with a gun and started shooting at me. Yeah. This has happened 5 times. I've had people pull out a gun, stick it to my head. Yeah, luckily it didn't go off. Yeah. So I'm not in a situation where I think I'm going to make it through this. I'm not in that situation. I'm in a situation to where I just wait for that day to come. And that's that. It's over with. Because it's come over and 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 over again. That seems to be my image, my picture. The process of my life, my personal life. Yeah. It's not an aggressive thing. It's just that there is Satan. And if you're not cleaning up your act, then the people that get around me are going to use that energy of a lack of devotion and totally opposites of anything that is that you're hiding, and the lack of change, will emphasize into the people that I'm being surrounded by at any given moment. And if the people who are really my true Sangha are truly Sangha and are doing the right things, then I'm 100% protected, and I won't have anybody selling me to the military or anybody dragging me off to go on a cross, which was done by my disciples. Yeah. So I'm saying these things because I have effectively kept them from happening. I've had disciples come up to me and try and kill me, and they're still with me. So I make change, and I have a forgiving scenario within myself because I could see where people are not the people they think they are. Yeah. So let's do a puja and just realize we need to make dramatic changes, and please, everybody, do your best to try and follow. I give very specific direction in some cases. If those things could be followed, I could heal the world. But I'm not the one who does the wrapping. I'm not the one who makes the tools, So if anybody who's doing it is not doing it my way, with the picture of the person, the name of the person, and all of that, I'm really in great danger. Does that make sense? Yeah. So as an incentive, please do your best to follow my instructions or go get another teacher. Does that make sense? It's the only way to go. Don't take me down with you. Yeah? Walk out. Yeah? Go do whatever you want to do anyplace else. Yeah? But if you're going to be with me, attend my classes, listen to what I have to say, and follow it 100%. Okay? Let's do puja. Okay, just relax. Okay, we'll do Om every 10 seconds. Okay, take a deep breath. Okay, just relax. Okay, you can open your eyes. Okay, well, my point that I'm making is that you don't have all the time in the world. Yeah. You assume you do. And then you're afraid because you also know you're going to die. And you're limited. And if you're 70 going on to 80, you got a few years left and that's it. So life gets really boring. Just waiting. See how, whether you die at night, die in your sleep, die of a disease, death is the next thing. That sucks. Shouldn't be that way. Yeah. We in reality can live a very, very, very long time. Yeah. But we need to have all of our ducks in a row. Yeah. We need to have a monastery. We need to know why there's a monastery. We need to know what Jesus is talking about when he says the monastery has ability to heal the earth. You know, well, is it a machine? Is that what it is that he's talking about? Or is he talking about us? People in the monastery, they have vital source. They could have a soul. If they had a soul, it would affect this great big operating system. But it depends on people who receive tools and are affected by the tools and are aware of the fact that Jesus the Christ is the one putting out the tools and that their healing is directly in relationship to adding the music and more tools and coming to a darshan. all that comes into effect as a lifestyle that you have the opportunity to add to people's lives. Yeah. But as we're seeing, over the last 30 years, it's not really a lifestyle. People are being moved into in a very concrete way, because the fifth ray is still at the sacral center. When they get the tools and stuff, it's not like they've been talked to or told anything, or this is what's going on, or things like that. Because a lot of times people who sell the tools are in Europe or Spain or in a healing center or meditation center or something. They just have them sitting there as part of many of the things that they sell. And they come across them and they say, oh, I really like that, I'll take that. And they don't include any music, and they don't say anything about where it came from. They just say it's a Shambhala healing tool made by monks and nuns. That's usually what they say. And that isn't enough. That is not enough to say what's going on here. Why are they monks and nuns? What? They're Christians or Buddhists, and Buddha's dead and Christ's dead, so they're just believers, are they? Is that what it is? They're full of faith and they're monks and nuns, and they, big diff if you tell them that Jesus the Christ is incarnated on the earth, and to be able to bring this out. But that actually happens with the person making the tool. Person makes the tool is the person who initiates the person receiving the tool to know Jesus made it. But that isn't what happens. Tool gets made, tools thrown in a box, tools go out. That's the way it goes. And a lot of times there is no name on the tool. There's no relationship to the tool as it's being made. There's nothing, So it's a whole lot of fifth ray in the sacral center with no revelation to the tool and the person receiving the tool as a soulful complement of the Sangha. So that's important. To me, that's important because, I'm willing to just keep reincarnating and watch these cycles go by, and I'm fighting for your ass. I'm keeping Trump from making it to that 25 cycle and him being the president. I still have to make it through that, and you have to make it through that. And if you don't, it's because of you, not because of me. My effort is strong. My effort is correct. The difficulty is whether or not the tools, from the moment of their conception, is permeated to wake up the person who receives them by blessing the person with acknowledgement, letting them know immediately it's coming your way. Jesus knows, I know, he's seen it, he's seen your picture, he's very happy for you, all true, but it in this material world, all that's left out, and then it's usually 10, 15 years down the road that I come across the person who says, I've had your tools for 15, 20 years, and I didn't know, but I really love them, and I've come to find out they're these wonderful tools made by you. 20 years later, that could have been totally a different world. We would have never had a Trump. Make sense? Yeah. It's all up to the Sangha. It's really whether or not, the level of integrity and dedication and loyalty and those things that you find that takes the sixth ray up into the heart rather than away from the heart, are things that I ask for people if they're going to do any of the work. Even an extended Sangha, when they're out there doing a weaver for someone or carrying a weaver, you have an enormous responsibility for the whole world having that weaver. It's not a burden on you. It is the response to the world that the world needs, and you're carrying it. And you have to carry that to a state of responsibility. And the same with the person making it and the person receiving it. All the way through, we're going into the noosphere. We're raising people up. But unless you do exactly as I say, we will not get further than rocks and oil. And all we're going to hear is, should we go green? Should we use solar? I don't know, wind generators, are they really safe? Because we're at that low of mind. With Sangha doing what they should be doing, it should raise the mind and consciousness of all of humanity to a point to where giving and investing in it with incredible amount of interest and understanding, rather than, I'll see how they do. I'll see how that country does. And we go through this in a very slow way. But we're only focusing on geo, not the, bio, or the noosphere. I mean, the biosphere, how do you change the biosphere? How do you change the consciousness and the way of thinking and the emotional interaction in governments? That's the biosphere. And you literally have to stop voting for being a Republican and doing all these things, carrying a gun and having that old flag, and all these things that channel through you to make sure you never do anything for the biosphere. You're the person who will say, no, I won't do solar. No, I want a truck. Because you work for the geosphere to keep the biosphere from, you don't have any smarts enough to know there is a biosphere and what effect it has on anything, let alone the noosphere. And here I am, I'm trying to teach you this shit, and it's more important than water. It's more important than air. It's more important than your daily comfort, is reaching, using my tools, using my science, and providing them correctly so we can reach these 3 levels. But it all depends on whether or not the tool is depreciated by the time it gets to the person, whether or not the tool is received by the person with acknowledgement that they've done such the right thing, and raise them up in the 6th ray into a 2nd ray, because they're already getting their 7th ray in their sacral center by buying the tool. They're eliminating the 5th ray that was in their sacral center by buying the tool. But without a fellow Sangha member going, good thing you bought that tool. I really see you. That's really great thing. I'm wrapping it right now. Be honest way. Don't you worry. I care. And I will share that information because in your heart, you can't wait till you receive it. And sadness is that that's not felt on the other side. The need in the heart and the suffering, the pain. And that person, when a person's putting this together, it's like, I'll get 8 done today. What about the blessing? Everybody's going, well, when we're all done shitting on it, or making it, or doing whatever we're doing, Buddha will bless it. He'll do the blessing, and then we'll send it out. And that's not how it works. It's not how it works. The blessing has to be given by the recognition that, thank you. We'll do that. We hand make these things. Thank you very much. And we're on it, and we love you very much, and we know this is going to make a big difference in your life. Here's the music now. Download it. Enjoy yourself. Have a good day. Sorry it took so long. I'm going to send you a pendant. Really, that's where I am. Shit, if I go to shows, I give everything away. That's how empathetic I am. And it would not freak me out if that started happening with my Sangha. But it requires discernment, discrimination. You just can't start handing it away. You literally got to feel and know when is right and when is wrong. And that's what I'm trying to help you get. To where you can get to be like me, and you can share and care and give more than you'd ever imagine you would give, and receive more than you'd ever imagine you'd receive, and turn this thing around, because your vote counts. You as an individual are born to be God's child. And that means you represent co-creation. Yeah, not destruction, not counter-evolution, not a selfish lifestyle that some way, shape, or form God owes you for being here. You know, it doesn't work like that. You know, we need to be in service with God to be provided for. It's not another way. God's the one who provides. And we got to live by God's rules. We got to do good work by God's Son. And we got to manifest the change in the world. All right? So, thank you all.